Good morning, and welcome to our November customer webinar. We're thrilled that you've taken time out of your busy schedules to join us once again. This morning, Susan Bell, Senior Product Manager at Town News, will share a wealth of new and exciting enhancements to our cutting-edge connected TV app suite, Blocks OTT. Blocks OTT empowers you to engage with your users right in their living rooms via their Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, and Apple TV devices. It also extends your reach to audiences outside of your core markets by giving you the technology and expertise to deliver the high-quality video content your users crave virtually anywhere. Today, Susan will walk you through what's new, show you how to take advantage of the new functionality, and answer any questions you may have. Feel free to type your questions into the chat at any time, and we'll answer them at the end of Susan's presentation. This webinar is being recorded, and a link will be provided via email to all registrants before the end of the week. With that, I'll hand it off to Susan.
All right, thanks, Aaron. So today we're going to talk about what we've been working on for quite a while. Town News has been working on providing features and improvements that have been in beta testing for some time now, and we are excited to roll out these changes. Some customers actually already have some packages that they are reviewing, but we will work with each customer on this release to make sure that your apps are ready to go before we submit to the store. How big this release is, we wanted to make sure everybody was comfortable and we had everything set up before we push these live. So let's dive in and go over what's new in the upcoming release. Today, we're going to cover 5 categories: design, content, monetization, enhanced features, and customizations. We're going to begin in design, which really this is focusing on user engagement and experience here. So the things that we've added is all focused on that user experience. We're going to start with probably the most significant design change for our viewers. The video preview player has been added as an option to the homepage of the app, or the pre-launch page, as we call it. Depending on how your app is set up to launch, you can dynamically turn on or off this preview player. Your preview player highlights video as the user scrolls on the homepage. The video that is highlighted will autoplay in the preview player. The metadata associated with the selected video will also display beside the preview player. The preview player is defaulted to the top left video on the feature row at launch. Typically, this is your live stream, that top left, but it can be anything. So the cursor will start there and autoplay that video in the preview player. So one thing that I wanted to note here is that this does highlight metadata. So sometimes our video doesn't have the description details like an article would, for example. So this is a really good time to check in on that workflow to make sure that you're adding descriptions to your video, because they will be displayed if you do have this preview player on. So we're really excited about this feature. The other thing to note is that ads do not play in the video preview player. You actually do have to be in full screen mode for the ads, the pre-rolls to run. So we're excited about this. And like I said, dynamically, you can turn this on and off. Some other design improvements that we've made is for our live stream. There's always been the ability to have a program guide associated with your live stream. You can set that up and you can turn it on. And if you do have it set up, the program guide appears under the feature row on your homepage, on that pre-launch page. So we've added some marketing prompts on the live stream thumbnail itself, informing the user when the next live stream will be available. You do not have to display the program guide for this to be active. And if you don't have a schedule associated with your live stream and would like one, we can work with you when we prepare your apps for submission. The live stream schedule is actually set up and provided by Phil59. So if you're a Phil59 customer, you probably already have a live stream schedule, and we just pull that RSS feed and add it to the OTT admin. And if you're not a Phil59 customer, we can still use that Phil59 technology to create a schedule for you. The live stream is not selectable when the schedule tells us that the live stream is not live. And that's so the user doesn't go to a page where the live stream's not active and they say that the message there is no content available. So this is a really cool tool for the user, that they don't have to go anywhere else, that they know that this live stream is not available right now, and they know what your next program is, what the title of it is, and what time it is going to start. So we're really excited about this feature. The other design change, and like I said, all of these things are optional. You can use them or you don't have to, but search was previously limited to the capabilities of your video management provider. It was requiring an API key and password to activate search on our platforms. So we developed a universal search option for all customers, regardless of who your VMS provider is. This is powered through the Blocks search engine. This will be added to your apps during our setup calls that we have. Another design change is our video player controls. The video player control right now are currently defaulted to the platform players. So we're just using those default, play, pause, stop on the player controls. We've actually customized the controls that are visible during full screen playback. So save allows the user to save the video from full screen mode and then prompts that user that the video has been successfully saved and where they can find their video. We're going to talk about saved videos a lot more here in a minute, but we are going to add a saved menu category to your application. And the prompt here actually says, go find the saved video menu item. So that's really cool. The middle button is play and pause. That's pretty universal, but we did update it so the same icons are across all platforms and we have consistency there. The final button on the video player control is next, and that is so that the users can advance their video in that category without having to finish. Autoplay still exists in full screen mode, so if you don't do anything, it will automatically go to the next video. But if a user doesn't want to finish the video, this allows them to have some control over when they advance without having to go back to the menu page and then select another video. We do have some new settings information for your settings menu. Right now, we have contact us, we have developer information, and you have about us where you can tell a little bit about your company. We now have an app info category that we can add to your settings page. This app info is this page displays the app version and build to the end user. And why this is important, if a user is having any issue at all, we want to be able to help that user as quickly as we can and help them troubleshoot what's going on. So this way they can report the version and build of the app and help us with our troubleshooting. So it's not required, but we can add this to your settings page. Login is another setting that we can add. It's only necessary if you're using the activation screen, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes as well. But the login simply just takes you to the part of the app where you can log in if you have that feature turned on. So we're going to move into our next category, which is content. And every time we develop a new content feature, we are trying to attract and retain viewers by creating and curating relevant and valuable content in ways that users can interact with that content. We do have several additional category options. You may have noticed these in the OTT admin. They've been visible for a while, but not available for use. So now they are available. We have a article plus video category. This article plus video category does require you to be on the Block CMS. But what it allows you to do is pull the metadata from an article and display the video that is on that article page. So this is a really cool feature. And like we discussed, if you have your preview player turned on and that metadata is visible, this may be a better option for some of your categories because that metadata might be a little bit more filled out. The other category that you're going to see is save videos, and that's how we set that up. And then we have some enhanced feature categories that we're going to talk about here in a few minutes as well. And that's for recommended videos and resume watching. Some other content controls that we've added in this release is category display. Category display allows video display control for a specific category. This overrides your global settings. Right now, we can control how many videos show up in a particular category. We set that globally for the entire application. We did have a use case that I added here at the bottom for example, weather forecast videos are out of date the day after they air, right? They're only good for a day. So this would allow one video to display in this particular weather forecast category, ensuring that only the most recent forecast is presented. So you have an option, and you can see on the screenshot here that in the specific categories, you have an asset display limit. Your option is going to be 1 to 25 there for your controls. The other thing that we've added for content control is mobile icon upload. And I'm probably more excited about this than anybody with our mobile OTT apps, because this is going to keep us from having to do new builds when you add a new menu item. So the dynamic loading of icons for navigation on the mobile application now can be controlled through the OTT admin. We will need to add icons to the admin for your application before we do this app update, but we'll work with you guys to get that done. So this is a huge release here, and I hope that y'all are excited about it. So moving on to monetization. We're going to talk a little bit. It's not a very exciting slide, but it's probably the most important thing that we've done for OTT monetization this year. Parameter macros for video URLs, fancy title, but basically what it means is we are passing those parameters at the bottom of your screen there: device ID, device user agent, app bundle, app name, app domain, and size, and an MSID. What does this mean? So this means that advertising can be sold based upon these universal parameter macros. It improves targeting and improves monetization of advertising, and it supports requests from ad vendors. Many ad vendors that we work with on your behalf needed these parameters to improve your monetization. And the lift here for things like backfill and better targeting are going to be huge with this. We do have documentation that we can provide to any ad vendor that requests it, so that they know what these parameters are and how we have them set up. So moving on to our enhanced features. Our enhanced features are offered to customers that are on the full suite of Town News technology stack. So this is going to include Block's CMS, Block's user authentication, IQ, Engage, DMP for some of them, and of course our OTT product suite. I'm going to talk about user activation. User activation is a screen that we launch when somebody first download the app. And you can see from the screenshot, what it does is it offers a code. This whole screen, the setup is dynamic. You have an intro text line at the top. You have a call to action text line, and then you have 3 talking points. All of this is customizable and dynamic. So you can change this, you can upload your own icons, control the color of the screen. This page is optional for the end user. You can see at the bottom right of the screenshot that they can just simply say no thanks. And it takes them straight into the application without them signing in. If they do want to sign in, we direct them to a website, as you can see there. And they go onto this website /activate URL, and they enter in this code, and it unlocks the premium features that we're going to be talking about. And that is recommended videos, resume watching, and save video cross-platform. And a couple more points on the user activation. So other than unlocking enhanced features, this is really a foundation piece for us beginning to learn more about our users. It's a way for us to collect email addresses, and this is the first opportunity we've had to do that. And it allows us to kind of move into the future as we research things like pay-per-view for people who want to charge for their apps or charge for live streams or particular content that you may have licensed. If your activation screen is turned on, then recommended videos are available. And this is a premium feature based upon watch history and interest. It is cross-platform behavior, which means what these users do on your website is tracked. And we use those audience behaviors, and then we can recommend content to them. The end user must sign in to activate this feature. And again, I have listed here that this does require you to be an IQ engaged customer. The backend works with DMP, which is low to me. So if you have that on your site, that's where those keywords and your audience tags come from. If the user is not signed in on your application for recommended videos, when they get to the category, after we set it up here, there'll actually be a nag that appears here to say, hey, we really want to show you some recommended content, but you need to sign in first. So we have those kind of second chance call to actions on the platform. And if they are signed in and they don't have enough user behavior yet to recommend video to them, we also let them know that and we'll tell them to check back because they just don't have any recommended content yet. So we're trying to make sure that the user always knows what's going on and the state of their sign in. It's important that the user feels comfortable that they have successfully signed into the application and that they're getting what you promised them on those talking points. So continue watching is another feature that you have to be signed in for. You have to, for this cross-platform behavior. It's really cool. And this is one of our Field 59 and blocks features. And basically, if you start watching a video on the website, then we can have a continue watching category here, and you can continue watching the video on the OTT platforms. And just to throw it in, this actually, when we say cross-platform, works on our Now app product line as well. So you can actually have continue watching and recommended content on your Now apps as well through those behavior blocks. But this allowed, like I said, when we set up this category for you, all your continue watching videos will show up here for the customer. There's a progress bar so they can see how much of the video that they watched and they can pick up where they left off. So we talked about saved videos a little earlier. Saved videos are going to work on everybody's platform, whether you're using enhanced features or not. The enhanced feature part of saved video is that it works cross-platform if you're signed in and you have that Blocks CMS site. So if you save a video on the website, it's actually going to save it to the OTT platform as well. Same thing with your Now app. It is across all of our tech stack that the save video works if you're using the activation screen and after a user signs in. So now I want to talk a little bit about customizations. Town News was making a lot of decisions about your applications. And just like with all of our other products, with web, with our mobile products, we want you to have as much control over the design and functionality of your applications as possible. So we have spent a lot of time making sure that we don't have hard-coded things into your app and that you are able to make some of these choices for you. I'm actually going to take just a minute here. We're going to do a live demo of the customization panel. So I just wanted to walk you through the different customizations that you're going to see that we've included. This release just went out this week, so these are live on your site, but they will not be active until we push your new applications live. So here you can see we have added a content display control, and this is so you can tell how many category items that you want, how many rows you want on your launch screen, and what your row count is going to be. These are global settings. This is for these episode items. This is going to be for the individual categories. So you can control all of that through here. You can see too that this connect account URL is here. This is actually how we activate the activation screen. We set this URL up on your sitemap and then we connect that there. And this triggers the activation screen to show up. You can see here that under the layout configuration, we have added show video player. And you simply just turn this on or turn this off and you press save, and this allows your video player to deploy on your application. So everything is really easy to set up. The connect URL will do with you. But if you wanted to turn your video player on or off after your application goes live, then you can just check this box here and that will do that for you. So just a couple of things, just so you can see it a little bit better. We talked about asset display control, and we talked about that mobile icon. Here is where you can upload your mobile icon for your mobile application. and you just save it to your library, and then you're able to pick that out there. Really easy, nice feature to use. Within your category, this is that asset display limit where you can limit. So if you have that global customization set for 25, then you can go in and specifically limit this asset display for this category to whatever number you want. So moving across to this customization tab, this is a brand new tab that was not there before, and it has a lot of information on there. We have this app design category here. This allows you to do things like pick what your activity indicator color is, the highlight colors, the tab unselected color. There is tooltips on all of these that tell you what they do, but you can go in here and you have a lot of control over the colors of your application. And like I said, these were decisions that were being made for you before, and now you're going to have control over those. This background color feature up here is a unique feature that you may be in a situation where maybe you do a branding change to where your background changes from blue to red. And it may take, a little bit of time to update your applications to reflect those branding changes. But here you can actually just use a background color instead of the hard-coded image that is your background. You can simply just overwrite that color there. And you may like, a lot of people do have a solid background, but it actually is an image, and this will overwrite that. So this is a cool functionality. Moving across to the right here, you can see the activation screen. This is all for that beginning screen here, your introduction text, your call to action. There are your icons where you can upload them, and then there's talking points for each of your icon. These are for the skip buttons. For that page, you can control what colors they are and what color the highlighted is, and also what they say. No thanks, not right now. You can control all of those texts. Right beneath the activation screen, we have continue watching. So this continue watching controls the nags that I was talking about, those call to actions. So if a user is signed in or not signed in, but you do have this feature turned on in your app, then you can tell them what you want to there. Default, we just say sign in to pick up where you left off, right? And then when they click on that nag, it takes them back to the activation page. And again, if you are signed in and you don't have any videos yet, then you can control that message as well. Same thing for the recommended customizations here. You can control what color those nags are, the box that it comes in, and what those messages are for signed in and signed out state. So back over here to the left, you see a podcast view over here. For those of you using podcast or interested in using podcast, this allows you to have some color customization control of the podcast highlight color and the text in your list. So this is a nice feature as well. The programming guide, if you are using that, this allows you to control the text in the boxes that it sits on. Mobile settings page. This is not active yet. This is going to be in a mobile release that we're going to do in about a month. But we are overhauling our mobile app to give you controls of that. And that's what that area will be used for. Over here, your about page. You can control the title label colors of your about page individually. So you can have separate customizations for that. And then down here is your search control panel. You can control the color of your keyboard, the text on your keyboard, and select all of those colors in those customizations here. So this is really important. On a lot of people's sites, we have experimental settings set up to do a lot of these controls, and we wanted to have a more efficient way for you to control your application. So I hope that you guys are excited about that. So now I'm going to throw it back over to Erin. Thank you. That was a lot of information very quickly. So if anybody has any questions, I would love to answer them.
Well, thank you, Susan. I mean, those are some amazing design and usability improvements, and you even snuck a huge revenue update in there, kind of hidden in the middle there, but that's a huge deal.
It is.
Well, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat box or the question and answer box. right now, Susan, no questions have come in yet. So you apparently did an amazing job of describing all of these features, and no one has any questions. So if you want to advance to the last slide.
And one more.
The next, or there we go. So if you to stay connected with us, we have a variety of ways to keep in touch with Town News. Documentation for everything that we've discussed here is available at our new help site, help.townnews.com. Support, as always, is available at 800-293-9576 or support.townnews.com. The community site is a great place to swap ideas with other Town News customers, and that's available at community.townnews.com. And you can follow the status of all of our services at townnews.status.io. And of course, you can follow us on social media on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It looks like we did have a question that just came in. For the live stream schedule, if you use a different provider for the live stream encoder, can you still use Field 59 to activate that feature?
Yes, absolutely. So we'll just create a Field 59 schedule for you. And no matter who you're using for your live stream provider, we're just using the metadata on that RSS feed that we create to show that feature or not show that feature. So 100% we can set you up with that.
Okay. And it looks like that is it for the questions for right now. So of course, if you're not a Blocks OTT customer, please contact your sales representative and they will get you started. But otherwise, thank you very much, Susan. This was a great introduction to these new features, and thanks to everyone who took the time out of their mornings to come and enjoy this webinar. We will be in touch again very soon. Thank you, everyone.